To say that this has been a crazy market is an understatement. We are hitting new highs here, sitting over $6,279 on the S&P 500, which now puts us up 7% year to date. This is after a ridiculous fall of speeds we haven't seen in decades, going down from 6,100 and falling over 18% in just a few weeks. But this has been a stock picker's market regardless of what the S&P 500 and indexes are telling us. We have quality names like Pepsi down nearly 10% year to date and over 16% over the last year. And in the last 6 months, UNH is down 40%. Let that sink in for a minute. 40% of your investment was lost if you were in UNH. This was a safe company, much like Pepsi. UPS stock over the last year is down 23%. And with the PBMs getting hammered, definitely Elevance is on the chopping block as well, as over the past year, it's down 34%. Regardless of what the markets are doing, there is definitely some sectors, in my personal opinion, that we can consider in recessionary territory. I look at companies like UPS, I look at the PBMs and healthcare in general. Names like Pfizer falling 62, nearly 63% over the last couple of years. Merck down 36% over the last year. Healthcare in certain pockets has definitely been in a recession. A lot of patents are falling off. A lot of headwinds for the big pharma. We know that manufacturing has been in a recession for an extended period of time. We're talking over 2 years at this point in time. And just taking a quick look at Stanley Black & Decker, down 50% over the last 5 years. These are huge numbers that these companies are down. Now, in my opinion, a part of this is definitely due to lack of management, lack of innovation, lack of growth opportunities. But another thing is that the consumer has shifted drastically and hard. And one of the most insulated parts of the area is technology. It's sticky, we need it, and we need it every single day, regardless of where the consumer wants, needs, or where they are currently. When I look at some of these stocks down 40, 50, 60%, it definitely piques my interest to say, is healthcare really going to go anywhere at the end of the day? Are we still going to need health insurance? Are we still going to need a Stanley Black & Decker? And I want to just dive into Elevance from a fundamental standpoint and see where we are with a $75 billion market cap on a company that was delivering pretty strong earnings and growth, and all of a sudden hit a screeching halt. Is this an opportunity? Let's dive into Elevance. We're going to do like we always do, be very cautious with our analysis, and we're going to start diving into Elevance here. First thing I'm going to take a look at is how they deploy capital. And overall, I would say, this is not great, but it's not awful when we compare healthcare. Free cash flow margin is very slim, and that's something we normally see with these healthcare companies. After the recent sell-off, this is a company now trading at 13 times earnings with a forward PE possibly sitting between 9 and 10 times and a nearly 2% dividend with a strong buy rating and possibly 47% upside. Now, if these numbers are somewhat true, we can see here that we are buying a very discounted stock here. This would probably be one on Peter Lynch's list here. We're talking about double-digit earnings growth, high single-digit revenue growth, but I just don't know if this is the case as we see stock price. And if it is, then we are definitely looking at an opportunity, with one of the downsides being that the margins are extremely slim in this business. And the one thing we do know is in the recent guidance, they are guiding for about $34.50 a share, which means that the company is trading around 10 times earnings. So the forward PE does seem realistic, around 9 to 10 times. Now, this is a company still in the growth phase here. They're still growing 6 to 7% top line revenue and trading at what seems to be a bargain at 9 times earnings. When we look at valuation, extremely cheap when we compare them to their peers. On a forward basis, they're trading about 50%. They're basically trading at a 50% discount and nearly a 50 to 60% discount on a trailing 12-month basis. Strong dividend growth in this one, growing around 8%. Dividend safety sitting at a C-, and they've been paying that dividend for 13 years and growing that dividend for 13 years. Now, once again, the thing I want to point out is the lack of margin growth that we're seeing here. This was a company doing over 7.3% EBITDA margins, now down to 5.3% EBITDA margins. I don't know what the future is going to bring, and that's why we're seeing the price dip. So I am using 2% and 3% revenue growth, and I'm using 5% margins across the board because I don't see a light at the end of this tunnel where margin expansion is going to take place. Now, obviously, if you're following the stock and you're seeing something I'm not seeing, definitely leave a comment down below. And with those shrinking EBITDA margins, we're seeing we're seeing shrinking free cash flow margins now down to 2%. I'm using a 1.5% free cash flow margin here. Now I'm putting a 9% required rate of return in here, and normally I put 10 to 11%, but with a company that's been growing its dividend for 13 years, has been raising that dividend for 13 years, a large part of their total returns is going to come in the form of a dividend, especially if they keep growing it. So I don't need to necessarily put double-digit rates of return on here to build safety. I'm buying a good quality company. If I'm able to get a compounded rate of return of 11, 12%, and then they're able to raise that dividend, and they're able to grow those earnings much faster than I'm giving on the top line here, then I'm going to have a pretty strong compounder regardless. So I get two stock prices here. I get a stock price of $263. If we put a 10% margin of safety on there, we get $236. And then I also get $284, call it $285. So for me, at around $265 to about $295, I would be looking at this company here. Because if they did get their free cash flow margins back on track, literally 1 to 2% makes a world of difference. So if you think this is a company that can get there, if you think this is a company that can increase margins once again, then this is a buy today without a doubt. But if you think they're going to still have margin problems, you think they're still going to have political headwinds, then you might want to sit it back and see if it sells off just a little bit more here. At this point in time, I can see why it's very, very interesting. I'm actually pretty interested at these levels personally, because if they did increase margins by 0.5%, we could see this thing shoot back up another $50 to $60 a share. As always, appreciate your time. Hopefully you enjoyed my dive in. And this one is definitely a mixed review. If you think they're going to grow margins, I think it's an absolute buy today. If you think margins are going to kind of compress or stay where they are, and you think there could be more headwinds, then I would sit back and wait it out, because the chart is telling us it's in a downtrend and the fundamentals are telling us that it may go a little bit cheaper. As always, appreciate your time, and we'll see you all in the next.